Hello, dear listeners, and step once more into the realm of adventure as we embark on the exciting decadal episode of our saga. Join Ari, Ortega, Captain Talus, Lady Tatiana, and their new friend Parish as they venture forth with a new party member and bonds forged in the crucible of destiny. I am your host and Dungeon Master Kyle, but first, a recap of the previous session from our very own Ortega.
Looking up to the guard, Derek, the party introduces themselves as capable, offers to take us to the task hand. As we walk among the town, we come across gross horrors attacking guards and citizens alike. The party decides to help a family inside their house. Ortega rages and breaks down a door into the house. During combat, Ari begins hearing a voice in his head. After some gross combat, the party saves the family as Ortega leaves a coin behind for the door. Heading back out into the street, we run into the task hand, Varen Thalis. She is wounded. We follow her to the barracks and have a short conversation about the other party before being led to the ready room. Alice, disguised as task hand, runs into the half-orc that saved Tatiana along with Tatiana herself. A brief conversation happens where Tatiana gets her sword back. Tatiana gives Ari a gift, a lute handmade from toast. After not really getting any leads beyond the other group is in town, Ari hears the voice again calling him. Ari leads the group to a statue of Utvara Pak, a dangerous warrior from long ago. We see Dermot and another fellow, a pale elf, Parish, is looking for a necklace. Dermot tells everyone that Ao has the jewels. Parish pleads for no bloodshed and to have civil conversation. Parish would love to move to the tavern, as the statue is horrifying and there has been monsters about. Party agrees as Ari casts Identify on the statue. Ari talks with Utvara Pak himself, while Talus consoles Dermot on the walk back to the ready room, and discusses the other party's intentions with our group throughout their heist. Back at the ready room, the group is offered rooms. Ari stumbles in later as he stayed behind to talk to the statue. Parish was just finishing up a musical set. Party heads to rest as Talus feels a brush against her arm, as Io kisses her forehead as she removes the jewels and gives them to Talus.
In this compelling installment, our heroes awake with questions that need answers. The winds of fate are propelling them forward into unexplored realms. The echoes of their past quests hum with renewed purpose as they face novel challenges and uncover secrets yet to be unveiled. Prepare to be enthralled as they navigate through unfamiliar terrain, confronting enigmatic forces that lurk in the shadows. Brace yourselves for the extraordinary journey that unfolds, where legends are born, alliances are tested, and destinies intertwine in ways they could never have foreseen. Talus, you find yourself awoken with Ao, jewels in hand. She looks at you and she hands you the jewels.
I'm going to take them, but I'm not going to look at them. I'm just going to look at her.
It is kind of dark. You have dark vision, but I need you to make a perception check.
That's a 21.
Even though it's dark, it's late, there's no lights on in the room except for the candle lights that are flickering on the dressers. You see, with Ao's skin tone and just revealing herself, you see that she has a single tear building in both of her eyes. She starts to back away.
Is something wrong?
She stops for a moment. She looks over at a oddly sleeping Tatiana. She just looks back at you. I didn't mean to do it, and I just feel like we could never be friends again if I didn't give them to you personally. They would look really pretty on you.
Talus is just going to melt a little bit, and Talus is struggling to find words in this moment, and with the weight of the silence and kind of the tension in this room, I think she's going to reach for a pouch that she wears at her waist, and she's going to pull out a tiny little note that's clearly been folded over many times over and over again like a ritual, and she's just going to quietly pass it to Io, and she's going to go, "It's okay. We will speak later. Know that I am grateful, but that this was not required or expected of you. So I thank you." And she's just going to fold the note into Io's hand.
Io will take the note. She doesn't unfold it or look at it. She just maintains eye contact with you. She rubs her eyes a little bit, gets up off of the floor from where she was kind of crouched over. As she's leaving, slowly opens the door. "It may not have been necessary for you, but it was necessary for me. I am going to go look for Galsarat and Earthen." She goes to walk out. She stops one last time, looks back, and with a flick of her tail, she closes the door. Tatiana, make a perception check for me, please.
That's a dirty 20.
Given your dampier ways, you didn't need to sleep really, and you were already fully refreshed. You pretended to be asleep, and you heard this whole conversation. And
Okay.
you did notice that the jewels were passed over. I mean, with a dirty 20 anyways, you would have at least seen an exchange of something going from Talus to Io. So you were able to catch on most of it, but maybe like when they were like super quiet or right at the beginning when she was invisible, you probably wouldn't have noticed that.
Okay. All right. I would have heard her say, please don't kill them, right?
Yeah.
We really can't kill them, please.
But I am just going to roll over and say, I make no promises for the drow, and leave it at that.
Talus, also being an elf who can just transfer for hours, Talus is just gonna get up and leave the room. Not necessarily like going anywhere, just gonna get up and go for a walk.
If you pass by the kitchens at all, Parish would say ale or coffee.
Can I do both? Is both an option?
We have a lovely dwarven whiskey that goes great if you take your coffee black.
Okay, let's do that.
And he won't ask any further questions.
Amazing.
The rest of the party, you guys all start to wake up and come to, and you head down out the back and into the main area of the ready room once again. And you see that it's a work day, so there's not really anybody coming or going. And you see the barkeeper is really just a barista working with Parish at this point, you know, giving people their morning brew. The food selection, it's very basic breakfast. You have your eggs and your meat, nothing over the top. It's very hearty military grade meals meant to more so fulfill the need more so than the taste. It's not great, but it'll do.
It makes Parish sad to cook it.
It's bland. It is a lot of grays. It's really unfortunate.
Before the boys head downstairs, as Ortega puts on his armor and sheathes his scimitars, he's going to basically wait for Ari to be ready to leave the room and then purposefully put a hand in front of his chest, staring down at him, expecting a gun drawn. We need to talk.
Well, we've talked about this before, so I'll give you the respect of 4 seconds to get your hand off me. Let's not lose great progress.
Before removing his hand,
Ooh,
Ortega's going to say, a little hypocritical, don't you think?
that'll make the rules.
And he'll take his hand off after he says that and says, if you want personal space, I deserve the same respect. Yesterday, before we headed into...
Before we headed into what? Sorry, please.
Before we headed into the bar yesterday, you grabbed me and pulled me aside. And you're damn well lucky that I didn't put a scimitar to your neck to return the favor that you once gave me.
You know, it's the deep trust we have for each other that I love the most, Ortega.
All I'm asking for is if you're going to do that to me, expect next time that I do the same to you.
Oh, I'll watch your space. Sorry, deep exhaustion and lack of access to whiskey does strange things to a man. So I thank you for your generosity with both my personal space today and the glass of whiskey last evening. Now, I believe there are still conversations to be had with people downstairs. Are you ready to progress, or do you have more to discuss with me?
He thinks for a moment before he just steps out of your way and offers you a hand to say lead the way as he keeps his mouth shut.
Excellent. Now, the real question is, and at that point, Ari turns around and starts walking down the stairs backwards, just starts strumming his lute a little bit with just a little bit of flair. Do we have morning whiskey? Do we have morning coffee? Or do we have a little bit of both?
I'm still exhausted, Ari. I think I'm just going to stick with the whiskey.
Sounds like Parish is going to have to prepare an entire batch of like cold brew whiskey.
Turning around, is Parish there at the bar still?
Yep.
I see you're a man of many talents. Who can fix me something that has the brevity of a lovely morning that I require, yet something to off-shelf the responsibilities the afternoon will bring?
I have to say, I do love getting tasting notes. I have a little something with apple, cinnamon, alcohol, and caffeine. I think that'll check all the boxes.
Every one I've got.
There's also eggs and bacon, though grayer than I would like to serve. It's what we have here.
I will take it, please and thank you. You need help back there, or you have this well in hand?
I think we'll be fine.
It's cool that you can literally just get back there and work They must be either short-staffed or very bad at their jobs.
Been in town a few weeks. I cooked them a meal, and they offered to have me work here for room and board.
Well, dear Parish, let's see what you got.
You know, I think I'd like to make you something rather than the slop we've got going out to the locals. If only to exercise my talents a little.
Oh, you mean now, or do you mean another time?
There's time now. Parish will go back and cook after he fixes a bit of a cocktail. Basically, orange juice and espresso with some apple and cinnamon.
Ortega's just gonna kind of pipe up and ask if you can make an extra large meal for someone my size.
We have plenty to go around, and I'll pour you an extra large glass of something as well.
Which size are you referring to, Ortega? Because you got twice this yesterday, and that was pretty cool.
Why don't we discuss that over breakfast? I think we've got more pressing concerns with the other friends in town that we should really discuss what we're going to do about as a group.
Yeah, no, you are right. I do need to try and understand more about how you get twice the size. But in the meantime, evidently, protein up. And I will wait for Parish to be done making food and for the party to hopefully gather, have a quick chat. Is the other party immediately around?
You basically walked down with Dermot, and Dermot was only one in the rival party to have had a room with you guys, or not with you, but he got a room as well as you guys. There has been no, to your knowledge, there's been no other rival party members coming and going at any point in time since you've been in the ready room. Tatiana, have you gone down yet? No, okay. Two of you come down and you see that Talus is like face down at the end of the bar with her head buried in a very highly potent espresso, clearly obvious shots of alcohol in it wafting, but she looks like she's seen a ghost. Parish, I need you to make me a cook's utensils.
I sure can.
Check. Let's see how well you do.
What attribute do you want assigned to it?
Let's just make it a performance check, and then if you're not proficient in cook's utensils, don't add a proficiency.
Okay. So I am proficient, so that'll be sub 10. I rolled a 4, so I think I got 9.
Okay. I mean, you're doing the best with what you have to work.
I'm working with what I have here. I am so sorry.
It definitely, yeah. You do present out the food to Ari, and you look upset. Like, you're like, I know I could do better, but like, this is all I've got to work with. It does have, some flourish and a little bit of extra seasoning than what the slop and the gruel that you're serving the locals. It is a more finer cut. The bacon, maybe a little bit of a fattier piece of the morning steak per se, and the eggs you see have been not as butchered in terms of the scrambled eggs. It's more of a fried egg.
It wasn't the powdered scrambled egg.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's still better than what you would have served down other people.
When I receive it, Ari notices that the small improvements, having eaten enough things less good than what this bar could usually offer, it is deeply touched and looks up and says, "Knows how I like my bacon. Good instincts and very appreciated, sir.
I will take you up on your offer to cook for you at a later time."
I'm looking forward to another breakfast.
He'll just nod and get back to work. Kind of wait for the rest of the party to assemble since Dermont's down and everyone needs to have some words.
Ortega is going to take one of his 2 full glasses of whiskey, and he's going to set it right next to Talus and kind of just pat her back like gently as like a friend and just say, looks like you need this more than I do. And he'll just go sit at a table while he waits for the rest of the group.
Once everyone's assembled, I'll just the staff hand I'm working with, give them 5 gold and say, if you don't mind waiting outside at the door, don't let anyone in, and I'll lock it behind them. Assuming the owners aren't there to flex that, no, I shouldn't do that.
I mean, it is really only the owners that work there.
Yeah, well, then I'll give them 5 gold and rent out the bar.
You would go to Prima. Prima is the sister. She kind of manages the bookings and the finances and the inventory. She doesn't really do a whole lot much else other than that. But you would have gone to her. You've met her. You know who she is. And you know roughly on average how much a morning shift kind of makes the inn, and yeah, 5 gold is it's enough. It'll be good. And so Prima just kind of flips over the open sign, and she just looks at you and, Parish, I really do hope that this isn't going to become a routine. And she kind of scuffs her turncoat a little bit, and she heads back into her office.
Prima, I appreciate it. I'll work an extra shift, but things need tending.
The door closes without even an acknowledgement.
Well, we're all gathered at the tavern. It's much nicer than the city streets. I believe everyone wanted to have words with Dermot, and I believe we have some things to sort through. I hope that this is privacy enough for the conversation.
Privacy is very appreciated. Look over to Dermot. Where is Io?
Ari, I told you yesterday, I don't know where she is. She hasn't...
I'm giving you one more chance. And I would like to try and intimidate him.
Okay.
Just to see if there's anything I can squeeze out of him. I'm overall.
It doesn't take a whole lot to really intimidate him, especially with it being so early in the morning and he's still scared that you guys are quite literally, possibly at any point in time, going to murder him.
Yeah, I'm glad he feels that way.
He looks around and he goes, okay, look, I'm telling you the truth, okay? I don't know where she went after I left here yesterday, but I do know that of all the people, she would possibly be the one interested in remaking a name for herself. So it's possible that she's maybe at this point now found like a job, trying to make amends somewhere. I don't know. My best bet would be to look at the notice board maybe and see if there's been any jobs ripped off. Potentially that might be a lead. I don't know. I know that she would be the one to want to prove we're all, majority of us, innocent, and a good way to do that is to get backing from the city. At least that's what I would do, and I know that Io and I share a lot of similar values.
Well, I appreciate the insight, and I think I'll do just that. Told me to look her up when I was in Bazzoxan. There's a connection that she apparently owes me. In the meantime, unless anyone else has seen Io, that's all the questions I have for you.
Where's Galcerad?
If at this point you would see me like at the top of the stairs, just kind of listening into you guys and staring at Talus with a almost smirk on my face.
Does Tatiana have like the mother Christmas, holding her coffee up here, just like sniffing it and enjoying like all content.
I'm just watching the show.
Are your canines out and about for everyone to see?
I'm not wearing my mask anymore.
I love it. I'll repeat my question, Dermot. Where's Galcerad?
That's an even more difficult question to answer. I know that he did go looking for Velen, the task hand.
I can tell you that he found her.
It's possible that he's at the Betrayer's Rise, maybe. That is kind of the big ticket in town, I guess you could call it that. Other than that, I don't really have an answer to where he might be right now.
So what you're saying is you don't know where the rest of your party's at.
I know where Maggie is. I do know where Maggie is, and I know where Irvin is. I just know that getting to Irvin is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I know where he is, I just don't know where that is.
Well, I'm inclined, if the party agrees, to let you on your way.
Now, I don't consider myself a party member, but I still have some business with him.
That being said, you can tell Irvin I've got something for him that he'll really want to see.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic. It sounds like kind of not really something that I want to, maybe relay to him, considering the fact that you look like at any moment you're going to stab me.
Dermot, I have no desire to stab you. I may look like a big, intimidating, brutish murder hobo, but I can assure you that's not the case.
Make a persuasion check.
16.
Okay. You do see Dermot's face there's a lot less tension when he's finally starting to, kind of let down his defenses a little bit. Okay, maybe you won't kill me, but I'm still afraid that you might do some pretty crappy things to my friend.
The only person that needs to watch out for me is Galcerad. I'll tell you that right now.
You could just
so you can just tell him to stay as far away from me as he can get.
if I see him, I'll pass on the memo, I guess. But I think right now...
And while Dermot finishes his sentence, I think Ortega's just going to get up from the table and walk over to the bar with his meal and let the rest of the party chat with him as much as they want.
Dermot, okay, screw you too. Dermot looks at Parish and goes, I got to apologize. I really did think that you were with them, and I may have been a little bit more defensive. You want to have a talk now that we know what we're talking about, and we've established that you're not going to kill me and they're not going to kill me, and I have reason to believe that you're here for other reasons. What is it that you need?
I have no need to admonish a starving man for his table manners. You were afraid, and I was a little angrier than I ought to have been by the statue. Truth is, I do need your help in some way. I believe your holy symbol is connected to something that I'm looking for. Ragir, as I understand it, is an uncle of yours. He likely has the information that I'm seeking. I'm wishing to pay my respects at a particular grave.
He did mention something about this holy symbol being something from a dear friend. I thought nothing of it. It's just a holy symbol to me. It is obviously a pendant of the Luxon. I don't really know if it's useful or if it could be helpful to you. I can only go so far as to just send a message to Ragbeer. I do know that there's actually somebody in here currently who actually has an easier way to message Ragbeer faster than I could ever get a message to. I don't know, do you want the symbol? I don't know if I would have to find a new symbol. I mean, there's probably plenty of places. This is a Drow city. I can get another pendant of the Luxon. It's probably not like the biggest worry. But I would I would like to know if I'm parting with something that was given to me, and I'm not going to fight you for it if that's what it's going to come down to. I would like to make this change civil, if that's what you want. I've obviously done some bad things, and while Avandra the Changebringer is not necessarily who I speak to, I know that from what Ragbeer has told me before, she has a way of creating paths for people or something, and if your path is to have this, and my path isn't, I'm not going to want to interrupt that. And that would be out of respect to Ragbeer.
Well, I would gladly pay to have a new holy symbol either bought or made for you, if that were the case. And I would gladly see this returned to you. I don't wish to get between you and your symbol, but yes, I am afraid that I must insist because I do have a mission to complete.
Yeah, don't worry about paying to get it made. Like I'll be okay. I just have to go to a temple and get a new one. It is just honestly, it's just garbage. Not the pendant itself. The pendant is a special, but I mean, these are a dime a dozen, and I don't understand why Ragbeer was so dedicated to wanting to give me this one. So you can just, if it's part of your path, part of your mission, obviously you're meant for it. And so he just rips it off and hands it to you, kind of slams it on the table.
I will take a symbol of the Wild Mother out of my pack. This belonged to a dear friend of mine many years ago. Now, you may not worship this deity, and I'll place it in the sand.
In the Bard Fields, there's a giant tree. It's dedicated to the Wild Mother, and something has been said about how bringing an object to the Wild Mothers has the ability to grant it magical powers. It's actually something I've been meaning to do. So, yeah, I will definitely take this symbol, and if it has value to you, I will make sure that just the same it gets returned to you, and we can consider it an exchange of amicability.
I'm much happier it's ended this way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm like kind of sweating there. There was a very big bullet dodged. I just didn't want another goblin casualty.
And Parish will go behind the bar and pour drinks for everyone, and let someone else have a turn. Dermot, if they want to ask any questions.
Parish, one more thing before you go. I mentioned earlier that there's somebody in the party that is able to talk to Ragbeer. You're going to want to talk to Tatiana. I don't know really who she is, but she can pull some strings, I tell you what.
Some connection to your uncle. Been curious to speak to her myself for other reasons, but thank you for your information. Breakfast is on me.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Scoops it and just starts eating this scrambled egg.
After Parish pours everybody another beverage, since it looks like we're morning drinking.
Well, it's breakfast beer, so it's only like 4%.
Ortega would probably request another whiskey, but he will come back to the table and he's going to look up at Tatiana to see if she's going to come down and join us or not.
I'll come down, sit on a stool, and I put my feet up on the bar.
Ortega's going to...
Staring at Talus.
Ortega is also going to look at Talus.
I'm going to pour Talus a water and say, love, it seems like there's a lot of heat on you at the moment. I'm not quite sure what it's about, but to break the tension, Parish will propose, I have questions for all of you. You may have questions for me. We didn't really have a chance to get to know each other very well last night, and the bar was a little crowded as well. Perhaps over breakfast beer, a bit of never have I ever.
Ari instantly looks up, adjusts his hat, pulls down his bandana, and says, my favorite game that has ever existed, especially for getting to know new friends, especially when drinking before what I believe to be 9 a.m. And if I may say, breakfast was particularly fantastic compared to what I saw you working with. Great, also, though, well, I don't know, looks around to the table. Do we drink it with whiskey? Do we drink it with ale? How do you want to play this game? Depends on the level of danger you feel.
Ortega is already going to be on his way over to the bar, and he is just picking several different bottles off the wall and bringing them over to the table in anticipation.
Parish will bring glasses as well as, the tankards and waters for everyone in case they don't want to drink before 9 a.m.
Waters is a good idea for everybody, admittedly. Hydrate up, kids.
Yeah, y'all don't need to get that point of exhaustion back.
Yeah. I just lost that one. He looks at the glasses and says, wow, don't often use those in this game, but sure. And pours himself a round of drinks, and pours everyone a round of drinks and pushes it out and says, well, I enjoy the game, but I don't enjoy going first. Ari will take his pistol, unloads it, no bullets. Puts it on the table, looks at everyone, and spins it around.
So Ortega would probably wait and see the gun point at Parish and just go, newbies first.
Never have I ever been to the Feywild.
Ortega is going to pour himself a large glass of whiskey and just down the glass. What? It wasn't obvious?
Tatiana,
Color me shocked.
you pour yourself a shot.
Care to elaborate? I mean, I was born there. Of course, I've been there.
That wasn't the question.
I guess that's fair.
Dermot pipes up. Don't you know the rules of Never Have I Ever? That's not.
Oh, shut up, Dermot.
I mean, we'd be playing What Is Up With That if you wanted to know more.
That's our usual game. Dermot, why are you still here?
He's allowed to be here, Ortega.
You would say that.
Parish will gesture to whoever's to his left.
Ortega's just going to point to the gun in the middle.
Fair enough.
And let you spin it.
I will grab the... No. That's my gun. No. If anyone's hand goes out,
spins it.
Ari reaches forward and grabs his gun again. Or have I ever? Lady Tatiana.
Never have I ever. I don't know. What do I want to divulge right now? Again, I look at Talus. Have I ever fought along their comrade, left them for dead, and sent a robot to save them? And I stare at Ortega and Talus.
Parish was about to take a drink until you said robot, and then he just gave a very what?
Ortega will slowly pour a drink and say, if you think it's our fault that we didn't jump through a portal, okay, I'll accept that. And he'll drink. Spin the gun, Ari.
Ari.
He takes a drink.
Ortega will pour a glass in anticipation for what's about to be asked.
Never have I ever lied to Ari's face. Which Ari gladly takes a drink.
Dermot looks at you and he goes, it wasn't words. It was poison. I did hand deliver it. Told you it was safe. Take the drink.
I appreciate your honesty. I might break your arm later, but considering mostly ended well, I don't think I'll let it slide. Thank you, Dermot. For the honesty, not the poison, you dick.
Sorry.
After a short while before the gun gets spun again, Ortega is gonna...
No one else drinks? No one drinks.
Okay.
Ortega takes a drink after like a long pause, and then he'll take a drink.
Helpful to know. 0 follow-up questions at this time. Almost happy to know, Ortega. Son of a gun. He looks around the rest of the table, his smile immediately dropping.
Talus has the drink in her hand, and she looks very deep in thought. She doesn't drink, but she looks like she's thinking about it a bit too hard.
I don't think I've lied to you.
Oh, you put your boots in my eggs. But that notwithstanding, you were honest about it. At least I assume so. I haven't been given reason yet why I think you might be dishonest. Not that I think any of you are dishonest. I'm sure you're all fine, upstanding people.
Parish will take a drink.
Did not expect that. Would really like to learn more, but I feel it does fall without the confines of this particular game, and we'll follow up with you later. Or now, if you feel like telling me the truth, I feel like
honestly, that breakfast was a lie. I can do so much better.
Oh, spin the gun.
Most honest person I've ever seen in my life. Spins the gun.
I'm offended.
Now the whole group stares at Talus.
Oh, yeah.
Have I ever had a question I really, really, really wanted to ask somebody, and then spent a long time being like, I have to ask somebody about this question, and told the group everything, but didn't say what the question was, but just kept saying, I have to ask the question.
I'd take the bottle and just start drinking.
Ari's already there. Whole bottle, no glass.
Are we just passing the bottle around on this one?
Everyone grabs their own.
There's enough bottles in the middle.
Table.
Dermot
And pulls a bottle.
Looks at like all 5 of you, and he's like, "I'm not in your party. I don't have any questions to ask any of you. And the only question that I asked Tatiana on the ship was, who are you? And I mean, that was it. So I respectfully, you know what? I'll join the crowd. I just want to be cool, like all the cool kids." And he also just takes a drink, even though he didn't have to.
Like Dermot more now. Also, Captain Talus, I feel seen. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He takes another drink for good measure.
Mm-hmm.
I have no comments.
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Okay. Talus reaches out and just touches the gun for a second.
Ari sees her go for it and lets her.
She's gonna spin it with careless abandon, and it comes to rest on Dermot.
Eyeing the barrel of the gun. Never have I ever done something dark to do something good.
Parish is going to down the entire tankard he has in front of him, goes behind the bar and fills it up.
Ari takes a drink and then says, well, it admittedly depends on your definition of dark. Takes a drink. And it depends on your definition of to do something good. Takes another drink. I will ponder these questions in my heart, Dermot. You're a deep person.
You're a
Ortega's
bounty
going
hunter.
to contemplate and then not drink.
Love it.
Really?
Ortega's going to reach out and put his hand above the gun and stare at Ari, but he's not going to actually touch the gun. He's just going to stare at him for acknowledgement before he even just like puts a finger on the table and just spins the gun to him without like picking up the gun or anything. He just kind of drags the nose of it around to himself.
You know what? If it's okay, when you put your hand over the gun and stare right at Ari smiles and says, I mean, I've seen you handle sides in a gun. He gives you the okay to spin the gun yourself.
Never have I ever spilled innocent blood.
Parish will pour himself a tall glass of whiskey, and he will down it, not say a word.
Ari picks the gun up off the table, and he looks at it, puts it down next to his drink, and drinks deep.
Now, I hope for a lot of you that shows that I don't have ill intent, as much as everyone thinks I do.
I've never thought that you have had ill intent to any of us. Or you are scary at times in a glorious way. Well, I don't really care about anyone. I care about us. -1. And I look at Dermot.
We're all playing the game.
No. I don't know why
Ari
you
just
think we
quickly looks
would.
over at at Ortega after saying that and just says, sorry about upstairs. You have no ill intent, then that is something I am not used to and have a difficult time aligning with how I've seen you rip people from actual pieces of themselves. But if you have no ill intent towards us, I will check myself with my apologies.
Having just met you, I can say you seem capable of great violence, and I am sorry that many define you by it.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Parish. I'm a warrior through and through. And in the Feywild, I've done some pretty despicable things to some pretty despicable beings. I've made a living off of it. I've led a tribe off of it. I've lost everything because of it. It most certainly defines who I am. But a lot of people judge me just because I look like I could murder someone. And I get emotional sometimes, that's true. But I've yet to cross that threshold.
Well, it seems we all know each other a mite bit better now and are drunker for it.
I haven't even started yet.
If anyone has any questions for the table, now might be the time. I don't know how much longer I can keep that door shut.
Even we're done playing. I was having fun.
Done playing. And I honestly believe this should not be the last time that we play this game. It was illuminating, fun, and intoxicating. Three of my very favorite things.
I couldn't agree
That
more.
said, see, like Parish, perhaps I'm being forward, and it is not simply for your delectable bacon or your choice of drinking games. We're planning next steps, and I don't know where your journey is currently leading you. But I know that we seem to get on well and are short for allies in a space where we could use them. Do you have pressing business that draws you elsewhere? Now you know the players, and for the most part, you know our game.
I don't know if any of you believe in the threads of fate, but does one amongst you know a goblin named Ragbear? I need to speak with him. It is a matter of
no.
somewhat import to myself.
Met Ragbear. No Ragbear.
Didi Tatiana, honestly.
I might have a way. And I start kind of tossing the sending stone up and down in my hand.
There's a grave I need to pay my respects at, and I think the only way to access it is by speaking with him.
You want to go and see a dead person?
I often want to go see dead people.
Great, another weirdo. Hold on. And I
What does she mean, another?
hold Ragbear.
While Tatiana is waiting for Ragbear to respond, under the table, Ortega is going to pull out a bone rose from his boot and slide it to, I'm just assuming that he's sitting next to Talus, but he's just going to kind of put it in Talus's lap and just wait to see if she keeps it or throws it on the floor while that's all happening. But carry on with their conversation.
Well, make a sleight of hand check first.
21.
Talus, make a perception check.
No, that's a 9.
Yeah, it must be so light that, and maybe the alcohol since 5 a.m. has starting to kind of numb the senses a little bit. You don't notice that he puts it on your lap. It seems with the sending stone, at this point, even after 10 minutes or so, there's no response.
Sorry, friend. No luck. Maybe next time. And I'll put it in my purse.
Well, since that's not happening, Alice, you've been sighing a lot through this. Is there anything you want to get off your chest?
No.
In your head, you'll just hear something tells me that's not 100% true, but I'll play along for now.
I think you just had a hard time sleeping last night, didn't you, Talus?
I don't even know if I want to know what goes on in girl talk.
Girl time.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Is there something you want to get off your chest, Tatiana?
Maybe another time.
Oh, another time.
Not my story. As I've said before, what's said behind closed doors stays behind closed doors.
Does it?
If you want to share it, then that's up to you.
at least
Isn't
someone's learning from my mistakes.
I feel like they're talking about something that they're not actually talking about, but they're still talking about it. I'm confused and trying to track.
Parish is right beside you and same.
Right? Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Thank you, by the way.
Then
I will fill you
I'll change the
with
question.
share note.
I'll change the question, Talus.
Sure.
He's going to look at Dermot and then look back at Talus and say, can you convince us why Galcerad is not innocent and should not be punished?
I didn't say anything about that. Just trying to convey to the party that I personally would not like to see any harm come to the other party, including Galcerad. That's it. That's all I've ever said. That's all I have ever asked. I don't want you to think that he's innocent in all of this. I don't care what you think, but I don't want any harm to come to him.
Now, you see, that's where I get a little confused in that you don't care what I think, because every time I mention something about it, you just want me to drop it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're saying you don't care, and those are conflicting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with you just not wanting anyone to come to harm. I can't promise. I'm not going to promise something I know I might not be able to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Galcerad has done us very, very dirty.
Sure.
Dermot has pretty much told us that he thinks that it's completely possible Galcerad thinks we're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted us dead.
Mm-hmm.
Which means what's to stop him from doing it again? Me. That's the answer to the question.
I don't think so. See, that's wrong, Ortega. You think everything is on you to prevent bad things from happening, to protect people from bad things from happening, and you don't have to do that. And you don't have the power to always do that. It's a waste of energy. Sometimes bad things just happen, and you live with it and you move on. You figure it out when it happens. Sure, maybe Galcerad will try to murder us all again, and we'll figure it out. Or maybe he won't, and then we'll figure it out.
I will say that's a line of thinking I've never been taught or had in my lifetime. This place is very foreign to me. In the Fae, you get crossed. Unfortunately, you get punished. And I'm not willing to see somebody who tried to kill me not get punished.
We are not in the Fae, though.
No, we're not.
Perhaps it's time to try and learn a new way. I don't know these people or what they've done to all of you.
You heard the part where
That's
he tried to
right.
kill us, right?
It's a dirty, despicable drow. And
If
he's
he was trying to
proven.
kill us, I do believe that we would already all be dead. In fact, anything that could have happened to us, I believe probably could have been much worse.
Oh, right. You weren't on the walk back. Dermot here basically told us that Galcerad's plan was to kill us, and if it wasn't for him and, was it Io? I think it was Io. They decided to change the poison on Galcerad, the poison that we all drank in the tea while you were recovering from seasickness or something. You didn't drink the tea, that's all I know.
No, you all couldn't wake up, and now that explains a few more things. Glad to get that sorted. Also, now more on side with killing that other guy. I mean, I can be convinced otherwise, generally speaking, but, go grab my die now. Oh, dang, I wasn't planning on murdering anyone today.
I'm not planning on murdering anyone today. I'm just saying...
Between you and me, it's not just 2 feet of height, it's also general ability to finish the job.
I just don't believe someone who's attempted to kill several people doesn't get punished. That's what I believe. We're not dead. I don't think he should be dead, but he should be punished. Is that a fair assessment, Talus? Can you at least agree to that?
I can agree to that.
Then I think all of our, and by our I just mean me and you, I think we're seeing eye to eye now. And I appreciate you speaking up your concerns and listening to mine.
Ari, to your earlier question, no, nothing ties me to this place. And I was hoping to leave the city as soon as I was able to sort out finding some connection to Ragbear. I have my next thread on the path.
Eventually he'll answer me and I can get you some sort of answer. But
Until
for
then,
the moment, he's being quiet.
I'll be with the party.
I've seen that sending stone accomplish pretty special things. If your goal is to reach the person at the end, I believe that your thread has joined the right strand. In the meantime, our time in this bar is coming quickly to a close, and I believe we have burned through a decent amount of capital. Now, I am of the opinion, following Dermot's lead, that one of the best ways to find the person I need to speak to is to check out the job board, see who might be taking jobs, if we can potentially get on the same page, and in the meantime make ourselves some coin. Games of Never Have I Ever, after all, do come with a bottle price tag.
Don't worry about the price of the bottles. I've done enough work here, and I'll leave some gold for them.
I'm broke. I spent all my money last night.
Yeah, this is the thing is, well, I greatly appreciate your generosity, Parish, but not all of us have 2 weeks of labor already on the line here. Generally speaking, I prefer to buy my own bread. Though, again, the generosity of the bottles, I'll come back for that as many times as you will have me. Well, thank you very much. But until then, I'd like to find Io. I'd like to make money, and I would like this group to stay together in such endeavors. What say ye? And he takes out the gun again. And I spin the gun on the table to find out who says first. It goes to Ortega. What say ye?
Well, she's not at the blacksmith because I already ripped that one off the board.
Good to know, and I will take that as an in. Spins the gun again. Axe Parish. What say ye?
So long as you aren't unduly cruel in any about application of violence, I will follow you until at least I hear from Ragbear, and I will know where to go. And you haven't seen me in a fight, but I can hold my own.
You can fight like you can make eggs. Gray ones. Taste like that?
Much better, though. I do hope to steer away from violence whenever possible. Like I said when we first met, I value life. Too often it's taken without thought.
It's amazing what you can live through. Spin the gun again. Alice, let's say ye, Captain.
I want to hear what Tatiana has to say first.
Boots are still in the last part of my eggs, and I told you they were delicious. Tatiana, feet off the table. Also, what you thinking?
My feet will come off the table when we're ready to leave.
All right,
And
fair
I'm pretty
enough.
sure
Tasted delicious eggs.
Captain probably knows the best approach to our adventure, so I'll follow you closely. Like girlfriends do.
Oh, no.
Well, I say you should check out the job board.
And the job board then, and I take my boots out of Ari's eggs.
Thank you.
Take one of these pieces of bacon. I eat it.
Ortega's going to
Ari's
look
not
at
mad.
Dermot quickly.
Ari's not mad. He walks up with her and says, I mean, it's good, though, isn't it? It's surprisingly good.
I can do better.
Could be a little bloodier, but okay.
I walk out with Tatiana and keeping an eye out for Parish when he has a moment.
Ortega's going to quickly look over at Dermot and just ask him point blank, you got any of that poison left?
No,
That's unfortunate.
your kin was more so the one to give us what we needed. I never had it to begin with.
You never trust a hobgoblin. And Ortega will get up and walk out of the room.
You guys all head over to the front door. It's locked, and it's a key lock, even on the inside. So Prima, you hear from inside her office as the chair kind of slides out, and a big sigh. And she goes, well, that took a little bit longer than expected, but I'm glad you all got out your dirty laundry, I suppose. You would like me to open my store now? Is that okay?
I apologize. I am aware you are not a launder. You are the finest tavern in the city. I'm unfortunately at my end here. I have business elsewhere. I'll gather my things, and thank you for allowing me to stay.
Well, you are more than welcome back, as long as you are willing to work for it. And again, as I said, no more of these miniature siestas.
It's before 9 a.m. You made more money off of us than they would have. And I'll pay for, and I gesture to the, table of just bottles and ale spilled everywhere.
The first time, Ari will actually throw a gold over. Not at her, but at Parish. Not even looking at him. Finger on the, coin on the thumb. Flings it back, heading towards Parish. I hope he catches it.
Honestly, I think Parish is just gonna take a step back and watch it hit the floor.
Prima comes over and and she like starts unlocking like the several different locks on the door. She opens it, switches the close sign back to open, and you can see that there's actually like 2 or 3 people waiting in line who have just been like standing there waiting. It's more so around 11 o'clock at this point, and people are getting ready for lunch. She turns and she looks at you, and one more thing before you all go. Your rooms are looked after. Parish, you are familiar with this, but as your new friends are aware, we have been setting up for the Dance of the Drow. It's to happen in a night's time, which is why I was a little bit more willing to close up shop for you, because I know I'm going to make my money back tenfold. You're more than welcome to stay until the Dance of the Drow. It's a yearly celebration we do, celebrates the Drow independence from the betrayer gods in Lolth, where we celebrate Deluxon. And judging by your new pendant, and judging by your goblin friend here, paying homage to the Luxon isn't necessarily a bad thing for you either. Consider your ticket fees paid on me as gratitude for your 2 weeks of servitude, and enjoy the rest of the city, for I know that you have been idly waiting. If I may be as so bold, I've noticed that a few of you are looking rather malnourished. There is a general shop in town, doesn't see much business, but if you're looking to stock up on rations of anything of the sort, that would be your place to look. Now get out, I have lunch to prepare.
Do we still have rooms here, or do we gotta pay for another night?
No, she said your rooms are good for another.
Oh, okay. The 50 gold is good. Cool. That is appreciated. Then my 50 gold is getting us a place to stay in. Ortega's going to leave all his regular stuff upstairs in the room, like his tent and stuff, and he's just kind of muddle about with his scimitars and his armor on. That's about it. Everything else is, he's got an empty coin pouch.
I think Parish is not going to bother to put his armor on, unless y'all are looking for trouble.
The last time I did that, Parish, we ended up in a fight.
Ah, right.
I would say that occasionally trouble finds us. Attack, a special kind of talent for it.
Right.
Well, to be a little more specific, Ortega ran into an invisible wall, not really fighting.
That's true. But you all wanted to fight.
Oh, yes, definitely. Most definitely.
I spent probably a solid 2 minutes trying to convince them to not fight. And then they convinced me to fight in that 2 minutes.
Walls can be very dangerous. I'll put on my armor. I guess Parish, once he comes back from the broom closet that he's been staying in, you'll see is equipped as an adventurer. Scale mail, he has a shield equipped as a buckler, though it looks like a heater shield sized for either a halfling or a gnome, kind of just strapped to his left arm. And his mace appears to not really be designed for fighting, but more ceremonial purposes. It has sort of a metal ball and chain on it that rings just a little bit as it kind of sways while it's on his hip. The only other weapon you can see on him is just a leather sling.
Oh, I love that.
Clearly halfling made.
That is awesome.
Gonna quickly check on the stock that I'm preparing.
All right, so I guess we need to ration up, armor up, shop a little bit to make sure we can survive and encounter off the job board. After that, I say we go employment hunting.
If it's all the same to you, I'm going to stay back here, and if I happen to come across any of my friends, I'll let them know that you've come a-knocking. Enjoy your work. I hope you find Io at least.
Now, there's not a great way to leave after you've poisoned us and then we had a drinking game together. Admittedly, it's awkward. You can head on out, though, and you can keep an eye out behind you. You've earned a small amount of trust, Dermot, and you can go real fast.
I don't plan to ruin that trust anytime soon.
Only for you. And RA turns, essentially heading hopefully in the direction of the job board. What do I see?
In terms of jobs, there is the ripped notice that Ortega took the previous night for the
blacksmithing one, right?
Yes. There are 2 other jobs. One is very newly posted from this morning, and the other one seems to have been a little bit older, been ripped off a little bit.
Not believing.
Yeah, but like it seems like it's been like pulled and put back, pulled and put back, pulled and put back like a few times. Like it seems like it's an ongoing position that just sometimes needs a little bit more work. The one that is very newly posted is a notice from two brothers with the names Sebastian and Rayland at the crematorium.
Deeply macabre.
Sorry, just a question. Would I have interacted with them? Because I probably worked a little bit with the Hospital Medica, whatever it was.
These two are more so like the morticians.
Sure. Okay.
You would have dealt maybe in the infirmary, which is actually the other note that's been pulled off and put back on and pulled off and put back on. You've actually at one point pulled it off and then proceeded to put it back on. You wouldn't know who these two are. You've heard their names mentioned a few times. You know, like in the infirmary, you would always hear, all right, send it to Allerton, and you've just kind of over the time assumed that these guys are the ones in charge of disposing of the bodies from the infirmary. So you don't know them, but you know of them. You do see a tiny berry sitting on top of the notice board.
I vote we go to the infirmary. That sounds up Bio's alley. She does have healing berries and whatnot.
I do know some folks around there. I haven't done much work, but I stopped in if my services were needed sometime last week.
That's two good reasons. Ari looks over at Lady Tatiana and Talus. Any reason why we shouldn't proceed this way?
I put my arm around Talus. I can't think of any. You?
Not off the top of my head.
You two have a deeply disconcerting energy this morning. Let's go.
The party dynamics in this group are staggering.
Ari actually falls back with Parish for a moment and kind of slides his arm around him a little bit and says, listen, I'm just going to give you the quick rundown here because you seem like a nice guy and you make a hell of a breakfast. And when you scratch my back at the terms of breakfast, I will scratch yours. Here's how this works. Ortega, giant, occasionally incredibly psycho, and apparently can grow to twice his actual size. Surprisingly nice, surprisingly smart. Don't screw with him. He does not take it well. Lady Tatiana knows a lot of things that are going on and doesn't like to share it. And I don't just mean with Talus right now. She is deadly. She does not give a crap about you, me, or any of us, but I think would also potentially kill anyone to protect you, me, or any of us. And then there is Talus. And honestly, I don't know everything about her, but what I do deeply know is that she is a captain of powerful renown for good reason, and I trust her.
And yourself?
Oh, I'm a Hari Hayesfield, and you'll learn. And he walks away.
While you had your arm around Parish, and after you mentioned scratching his back, he quite literally was scratching your back.
Ari digs and is like, yeah, no, cool, this is going to work out real well. But does, at that point, leave you with a pat on the back to walk forward towards the posting location.
You guys head on down towards the infirmary. This is a journey that Parish has made several times over the past couple of weeks. It doesn't take you that long to get there. It's actually right next door to the barracks. You come in and you see literally a sign that says, like, help wanted. There's 3 buildings on the perimeter of the central square, and they all have doors marked with a symbol of a hand alight with magic. They are places of healing. You guys enter in the infirmary. The walls are lined with shelves that hold old books and medical supplies, floor crammed with narrow cots. There's a small office in the back. You see drow priests and priestesses walking around, tending to patients. Most of them are asleep. You see members of the Aurora Watch, all in various states of woundedness, and there's like a whole satchel of armor stacked neatly nearby. Every soldier that was affected with the recent gibbering mouther attacks and other, sicknesses. The more pressing matter, you see that the priests and the priests attending to are more focused on the members of the Aurora Watch. The main priestess looks to see the doors open. She looks at you and she looks at Parish.
Parish, you have found more associates, workmates, I hope? Oh, your duties here have been miraculous. We couldn't have been able to have more beds for the most recent attacks yesterday. What's up?
I'm happy my administrations were useful. My associates here were actually hoping to ask a few questions, I believe.
Oh, Of course. Just a moment.
And she finishes a casting of Cure Wounds on one of the victims. Kind of stretches up and he sits up and he goes, "Oh, hey guys, it's Derek. You guys are okay. Fantastic.
It's Derek.
Do we need to go to the task hand, or are you guys good? I know I slacked on that. I'm terribly sorry.
We're good.
Okay. Oh, welcome to Bazzoxan.
You can see why I'm fond of leaving the city, right?
The head priestess, she comes up after healing Derek, and she looks back at Derek and...
Lay down, darling, lay down. There's still lots to go. You're very delirious.
And she walks over to Parish.
Sorry, to your acquaintances. I am Balthazar. You said you had some questions to ask me.
If you would like to speak with them, I can tend to the patients.
Sorry, just if it's okay, as Parish walks away, Ari just quickly spins his lute around and just plays a couple of chords, just like he's warming it up, but just enough to try and send over some bardic inspiration for Parish as he goes to heal.
Parish will just look back over his shoulder and go, I love that tune.
I love that tune.
One of my favorites.
Derek.
Oh my goodness, start with that one.
Sir, sit down.
Eric Hill, my guy.
So, what questions need answers, or at least how can I be of assistance to you?
Ortega's going to take a play from Tatiana's book and basically look at Talus and go, what questions do we have, Talus?
Actually, I have to step outside for a moment. I just need some air, and I'm gonna just literally walk out and go get some air, quoting mark.
As you're walking out, you would hear me ask, "Do you have any good berries?"
Not on me, no, it's crazy.
Oh, no, not you, darling. I know you don't have any. I'm talking to, nurse. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Batha, dear.
Batha, dear. Have you been given good berries lately? I could go for a good berry.
Shockingly, it's a very weird coincidence you would suggest good berries. A young lady was in here earlier this morning. She stopped by. She had 9. She said that some people would maybe be asking about them. I just simply took the gratuity and I carried on. It was rather really early, come to think of it.
Perfect. That's perfect. Which way? You didn't see where this young lady went afterwards, did you?
No, I didn't.
You have anything with the good berries? A note, maybe?
No.
No.
Just that there was mention about her having to visit the Waste Walkers. She asked me where they were, and I just said no.
Yeah. It's a tough day to be a waste walker anyway. It's probably for the best.
Yeah, I hear they don't like to give out their personal address.
It happens that I'm very good at finding people, so I think we'll be all right.
There are others who may be able to assist. They may know where the Waste Walkers are more so. There are 2 that I can think of. Prolix and Alicia.
And who are they?
I know Alicia is an archaeologist. Oh, the Allegiance of Alsight in Ankarel. She's been in the infirmary a few times recently. And Prolix works with Alicia. They have an insignia. They've actually been helping us with various sorts of things around the city. Their interest is in the Betrayer's Rise. Yeah, I haven't seen them in about a day or so. I did notice they seem to be interested in older things. Come to think of it, I believe when we sent the last few of our fallen to crematorium, they were asking about that. I cannot really be of any more service in regards to their locations or the Waste Walkers or this friend of yours that has graciously donated the good berries.
Well, Tatiana, I think that this has been very helpful and that seeing an archaeologist in regards to some of our other questions, along with furthering our lead on this particular question, is mutually beneficial. You seem to know more about what's going on than we do.
I just know what questions to ask, that's all.
Well, by all means, lead the way then.
Crematorium won't hurt. We know where that is, at least. We don't know where these 2 people are. Unless you do. And I look at the nurse.
Well, I remember Prolix was mentioning something about his interest in the crematorium.
Then we start at the crematorium.
We do really appreciate your generosity. And Ortega will reach down into his coin pouch and realize that he has nothing and goes, never mind.
And we don't need to worry about that. You're okay. You know what? We'd probably need this more, but an adventurer left a healing potion. We don't typically need to provide healing potions, as all of our healings are guided by the Luxon. But if you need a potion of healing, I have a couple that have been graciously donated. I have 4.
You can have it, Ari. Ortega, Talus. Once we join her outside and make sure she hasn't swallowed her tongue or choked on it or whatever it is she's doing outside.
No, she's having a whole meal smothered in awkward sauce.
Ortega will tell you to keep it.
Then. Ari will take Ortega's.
This has already been a painful headache kind of day when it comes to trying to figure out what is going on with our party.
That's probably just the morning hangover. We drank a lot at breakfast.
I don't get hungover, Parish. Have you seen the size of me? I handle alcohol
games
way better than anyone I've ever met. I will drink considerably more than just about anyone else before I get drunk on weight alone.
A smirk just crawls over Parish's face as he plots for future events. If we're done here, I guess Parish will wrestle Derek back into a bed as he tries to escape.
They need to go see Tascan Valet. It's very urgent. They just arrived. They need to... The gibbering mother situation it's not under control. I have a duty. I gotta...
Ortega's gonna come over and assist him by just going, stay, or I'll hit you.
Intimidation check.
Yeah, that's an intimidation check.
Natural 20.
No way.
He looks right at you, and then as soon as you finish that sentence, you see that his bedpan is just full, and his sheets are soaked. That's normal, I swear.
I saw nothing, Derek. I saw nothing.
My work here is done.
And he rings a little bell, and he goes, Priestess, I seem to have made an oopsie. It wasn't my fault, though, I swear. I don't know how it happened. I seem to have made an oopsie.
Ortega, next time you're all like, why would anyone think I'm scary? How could that possibly go bad? You glared at a guy and made him wet his entire life. No more of this. Oh, shucks, gosh darn. I don't understand how anyone could think it could be scary. You're scary as hell.
Ortega's just going to walk out and look at Talus and just go, we're heading to the crematorium now.
Talus has set off back for the job board.
It's not that far away. Like, it's literally, there's a circle, and it's like right across.
Oh.
Sweet. Sprint to that, and I just want to pick up the good berry that I left over there, and then I'll run to the crematorium.
Okay, so when I get outside, you're not there then. We lost Talus.
Talus doesn't know where the crematorium is, though. That's the problem.
I don't. I'm just running.
You just see her like casually running across the circle, like holding the thing up, looking for the picture of the crematorium.
Never mind, I found her. She looks like an idiot. Parish, you want to lead the way? You know where it is, right?
I know where bodies are commonly sent. I've been in the city a while. Is she going to tire herself out? Assume she's running a lap of the circle.
She has a decent amount of energy, and her sea legs are already under her. So I think she can probably go for a while. I mean, maybe we should grab her, or...
Nope, let her do her thing.
Okay, bye. Oh, she's gone. All right, wow, she's fast.
No, she's coming back around the circle.
This is a small town.
It's not a big town for sure.
Keep up a sprint in that armor. I commend her.
As Talus finally gives up, realizing she doesn't know where she's going, she's asking everyone, "Where's the crematorium? Where's the crematorium?" And they're like looking at her as if she's, crazy, and they just keep that way. And someone else goes, "Oh, I think it's that way," and it just keeps confusing her. Talus, you do eventually give up, and you find the party walking in a very obvious direction, and you do catch up to them.
It's been a long morning, okay?
Do you think that she knows that when you scream at people asking where they burn bodies, folks tend to just be like, oh no, I don't want to engage with this any further?
It's not a great town. People running around asking where they burn the bodies is not that uncommon.
You haven't been to Blade Garden, have you?
Kyle, have I been to Blade Garden?
Make a history check.
Oh, I rolled an 19.
Along your journey, you did indeed pass through Blade Garden on your way to Zorha. It was very quick and brief. You didn't stop in and say hello or anything like that. As you guys are rounding the major bend, heading towards the crematorium on the first major street, you turn and you see something happening with the center. It's a dead tree with spires of the barb fields spiraling around that makes up this centerpiece, and there's a dead tree jetting out from. There's a couple benches, and it's a nice little square. From above the tree, you start to see a crackle of energy in a very odd, unfamiliar fashion. It's almost as if the fabric of reality gets ripped apart and a single frail being is launched out, rolls down onto the ground, looks at you, the first group of people that he sees.
My name is Zokar. I'm Githyanki. There's an issue on the astral plane, an anomaly. If this does not get resolved immediately, the fabric of your reality is at stake. I don't have much time. Come back with me. Help me.
I would like to insight check that. 15.
I rolled a 19.
This random Githyanki that gets shot out of an astral portal that looks like it has been ripped apart. You see the frailty in his disposition. You see how desperate he looks. And Githyanki, really none of you have met a Githyanki before, but you've heard about them. You know that they are very formidable, stout, non-desperate folk, very prideful. To see a Githyanki in a time of desperation, knowing that they are astral travelers, you know that something bigger is at stake. You look at the portal and you see space as you know it. You see beyond the two moons of Exandria. It is lit with comet trails, distant stars, astral patterns, purples and blues swirled together. This portal doesn't look like a typical portal. It looks like it has been crafted with effort, as if this Zokar tried to escape from somewhere.
Now, I certainly don't represent the entire group, but I feel incredibly underqualified to deal with this. But it does seem like a very interesting experience.
A little bit exciting, if you ask me. I've never done this before.
I did feel a bit left out jumping through portals last time.
Oh, portal jumping's nothing.
So you're familiar with portal jumping. That is good. Do I have your assistance or not? Because if I do not, I must move on, and I do not have time.
Look to Parish, and as Ari does, he says, like I told you, I trust the captain.
Are we gonna jump through a portal?
I don't really want to. I'm gonna be totally honest. It's been a long morning. This feels like it would make it a longer morning.
Well, I think it's 4 against 1. Captain's vote doesn't matter. I'm gonna grab her by the hand. Open up, let's go.
You see, like, from his belt, he's only wearing, like, he's wearing armor, but in terms of, like, gear, he's very lightly packed. And he pulls out this odd compass of sorts. It's not a compass that you guys have seen before, and he twists it and he bends it and it kind of creates a sphere. And as he pulls the sphere apart, it rips the very fabric of the existence in front of you. You see the astral plane swirling and shifting in its purples and its blue hues. There's some slight oranges of a nebula in distant space. And as he pulls it apart, the pieces that he's holding shatters. You guys all get sucked into the astral plane. You feel yourselves being twisted and pulled and existentially ripped apart. You're not taking any damage, but you're feeling like there's just a swirling twist of energy encompassing all of you. As you look at each other and you don't see anything, you just see beams of light. This is not like any other portal jump that the few of you have been in before. You get blasted out into what looks like a forest clearing, nighttime. There's quiet, there's bugs chirping. The Githyanki looks at you and...
I knew there was going to be complications, but we're here. You better be ready.
Talus, I was with you. I was going to classify this under not our problem.
Are we going to be each other's characters?
I'm not telling. However, I will say this. You will be each other's characters.
No! Fun.
And that's where we're going to end it tonight. As we step away from the intriguing portal that has already whisked our heroes to and fro, the thrill of what lies ahead palpable. Their recent experiences, intertwined with cryptic encounters and unexpected twists, set the stage for what promises to be a Halloween special like no other. Get ready, dear listeners, for our upcoming Halloween adventure. Will chill your bones and quicken your pulse, unveil the shrouded mysteries that lie just around the corner, where every creaking floorboard and flickering candle could hold a secret. I have been your host and Dungeon Master Kyle, and before we part ways, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to MAB Music for providing the captivating background music that has brought our adventures to life. Their artistry enriches our storytelling and creates the enchanting atmosphere that keeps our listeners engaged. And thank you, dear listeners, for being part of this extraordinary journey. And remember, the magic of storytelling will continue to weave its spell.